Welcome. My name is Mark Cormier. I'll be working with Kathy Cormier this morning for our morning flow series. I'll invite you to grab whatever you think you might need for a yoga practice. A bottle of water, a mat if you choose to use a mat, bricks are helpful. You could also use books, you could use soup cans, lots of ways to practice yoga. Feel free to get creative. All right. Welcome, Kathy.
Morning.
How are you feeling this morning?
I'm good.
Awesome. How'd you sleep?
You slept well. I said probably need to sleep more, but
Excellent.
slept pretty well.
I'm trying to think. I can see your face. I think we'll keep the let's keep the windows open today, or the shades open anyway. Anything you'd like to work on?
Getting my just because my job is so
Yeah.
my shoulders.
Well, I love to work with the spine. So why don't you go sideways? Let's just demo the three things. So here's neutral spine. Got the back of the head in line with the sacrum. Another way to think about it is ears over shoulders, ears and shoulders over hips. And once you put your hands on your low back, fingers face down, and show us an arc to the back. So you lift the chin, stick the tail out. Even though you're doing that, you want to feel a sense of space in the low back. So you want to think of a ball here, and you're rounding up and over that ball. Now let's see a rounded spine with a tucked tail and tucked chin. Yeah, even tuck the tail a little bit more, but stay in a standing position. Yeah. So you're just tucking the tail. Yeah. Anterior tilt they call it. You're tucking the chin. So there's a ball here. Yeah. So I want you to go even bigger on the rounded spine here. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, much more of a tuck. Yeah. So that's going to be what I call the arch to the back. So you've got, even though we're tucking tail and chin, there's still a sense of space in the low belly here. We'll go between those two places a lot, and we can even do a standing cat-cow here. So hands supporting our low back, finding an arc. Hands supporting the low back, finding an arch as you tuck the chin and tail. Inhaling into an arc. Exhaling into an arch. Yeah, tuck that tail even more. Yeah, there you go. Inhaling, opening up. Exhaling, rounding it in. And then let's come back to neutral spine, back of the head, in line with the sacrum, hands by your side. Turning and facing the camera, and we'll start our breath sequence here. So finding a stance that works for you, either a wide stance or greater balance, challenging that balance with a narrower stance, and that can change throughout the practice. From our feet, finding our legs, from our legs, finding our spine. Tall through the crown of the head, a slight tuck of the chin without shortening the neck. I'll let you figure out your hair. As you bring your hands to your heart. Light press of your thumb against your sternum as you line up each finger. Relax shoulders starting this morning just by watching our breath as it flows in and as it flows out. Arriving here on our yoga mats if you choose to use a mat. Ready for a morning yoga practice. Now lifting the chin tall through the crown, hands by your side. We forgot to get to the Ujjayi breath, but let's go sideways and we'll cue it this way. Are you in center, camera? There you go. Okay. Let's bring hands back to the heart as we deepen and lengthen our breath. Long, smooth breaths in. Long, smooth breaths out. As you breathe in, breathing the air to the top of your chest, the base of your belly, filling up each side waist, filling up both front and back planes of your body. As you breathe out, I'll encourage you to engage your abdominals as you draw the low belly in and up, concurrently lifting the kidneys in and up, squeezing a little more air out, more importantly, providing structural support for your spine as we move through these shapes and sequences. Now finding the Ujjayi, the victorious breath, a slight constriction of the base of your throat, adding a slight sound and feel to your breath. And as we flow through our practice this morning, letting the sound and feel of your breath be a focus for your practice, often compared to the sound of the ocean as the waves wash in and out. Through this Ujjayi breath, finding Jiva Bandha, the tongue loop, tip of the tongue to the hard palate just behind the teeth, keeping that connection throughout the practice, relaxing our jaws and connecting front and back planes of our bodies. And finally, with your lips closed, adding a slight smile to your face, opening up the front of your throat so your breath has lots of room to circulate, refresh, and revitalize. Keeping all this, lifting the chin, hands by your side. Sun Salé, keeping it simple, just working arms and shoulders as we inhale, arms up, side, and then overhead. Exhaling, hands back down. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, arms down. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, arms down. Adding a forward fold and a back bend. Inhaling up. On the exhale, leading with the heart as you fold. This is neutral spine. Now rounding the spine, tucking tail and chin. Inhaling, lifting tail and chin as we arc the back. Exhaling, rounding the spine again as we tuck tail and chin. Inhaling, moving towards neutral spine, back of the head in line with the sacrum, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. 2 more times like this. Inhaling up. Exhaling, leading with the heart as you fold. Take a breath to arc the back, hands can cap the knees. On the exhale, catching the back of the shins as you round and fold. Inhaling, hinging at the hips, moving towards neutral spine, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. 1 more to go here. Breathing in, lifting up. Exhaling, folding. Inhaling, finding length as we arc. Exhaling, keeping that length as we arch. Inhaling, hinging at the hips, leading with the back of the heart, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. Sun Salutation A. This first one I will not cue vinyasa. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding your forward fold. Take a breath to find length as we arc. Exhaling, arching, and then grounding on down as you find your down dog. So grounding down through one hand and then the other, stepping 1 foot back and then the other, and just holding your dog. As we hold this first down dog as a practice, I'm going to invite you to walk your dog as you bend one leg deeply, grounding down to the opposite heel. So go all the way to the heel there. You're going to get a nice stretch, and then just back and forth. Just seeing how your body feels this morning, what feels tight, what feels right, what feels somewhere in between. From this place of movement, moving back towards relative stillness, long arms, long legs, long spine, deep full breath. You're still breathing, your heart's still beating, your mind's still moving. By focusing on your breath, finding a little more space between each breath, each beat of the heart, each thought, and breathing into that space. From down dog, long smooth breath in, long smooth breath out. Tail end of your breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tail a little higher, more space in the low back, and then looking between the hands as you either step or maybe take a jump front. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. Hands cap the knees as we arc. Exhaling, catching the back of the shins as you arch. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead, moving towards neutral spine. Exhaling, hands by our side. Second one just like the first, except I will cue vinyasa. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding a forward fold. Take a breath to arc. On the exhale, arching as you ground on down, elbows soft as you find chaturanga. Yoga push-up, elbows shave the ribs. Feel free to keep the elbows soft. You don't want to set the plank right off the bat. Unless you need to arrange
I'm just trying
set.
to frame. I'm just trying to frame.
Yeah, don't worry too much about the visuals.
Well,
finding your
people want to
push-up.
see.
Inhaling into your back bend. Hips stay down for the cobra, or you lift the hips up for your up dog. And then rolling over the toes, maybe you ground the knees as you stretch it back to down dog. And there's lots of ways to move through space with grace. Finding a way that works for you, this iteration, this sequence, this place and time. As we hold down dog, either holding in the stillness or coming back to a place of movement. As you walk the dog from side to side. Bending one leg deeply and then the other. Yeah, try to ground down through those heels when you walk again. You get a nice stretch in the Achilles tendon. And then finding your second side, your pace, your body, your breath. Again, from a place of movement, if you chose that option, moving back towards stillness. Long arms, long legs, long spine, deep full breath. Tail end of a breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone a little higher, more space in the low back, and then looking between the hands as you either step or take that jump front. Take a breath to arc, lifting chin and tail. Exhaling, arching as you fold. Inhaling, hinging at the hips, leading with the back of the heart, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, hands by your side. Let's do one more Sunsal A. We'll throw a moving plank into the mix. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding your forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. On the exhale, arching the spine as you fold. And ground on down. Now keep your elbows soft here. So going right into the push-up here. So don't set the plank. Find your push-up, that's it. Inhaling into your back bend. Up dog or cobra. And then stretching it back to down dog and holding. So we'll throw the moving plank into the mix if you choose. Feel free to hold your down dog. Feel free to sneak in a child's pose. Otherwise, inhaling forward to plank pose. On the exhale, navel to spine as you lift the hips high. Inhaling forward to the plank. Exhaling, drawing it back. One more time here. Inhaling forward to the plank. And I'll invite you to hold the plank for a few breaths. Feeling that connection between your head, your hips, and your heels. Feeling a nice openness without locking the knee in the back of the knee as the calves lift up to the sky. Feeling the crown of the head stretch in front as the heels stretch back. Strong, strong shoulders. Strong arms. One more breath in. And then breath out, navel to spine, as you lift the hips high. And holding for another couple of breaths. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump front. Awesome. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, folding. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, hands by your side, neutral spine. Sun Salutation B. We'll do it flow style. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Finding your chair pose as you inhale. Exhaling as you take it lower, more strength in your legs. On the inhale, rising on up, glutes engaged to support a little back bend at the top. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length as you arch. Exhaling, arching as you ground on down and keeping the elbows soft as you cycle through your push-up. Inhaling into your back bend. And then on the exhale, back to down dog. Adding on flow style, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. Looking between the hands, bringing that right foot through, landing it lightly as you spin the left heel down. Arms out to the side and then overhead, inhaling. And then on the exhale, spinning the palms out, spinning back heel up to your low lunge. And then back to down dog, as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back, yogi's choice. From down dog, second side, big toes touch, heels slightly apart, left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Looking between the hands as you bring that left foot through, landing it lightly as we spin the right heel down, arms out to the side and then overhead. And then riding your exhale back to low lunge, and from low lunge back to down dog, as you will. And take your time, find your flow. As we hold down dog, I'll invite you to bring your attention to your hands. Lots of strength in the hands to help support the wrists. You might think about grounding down through the pads of the fingers as you draw the center of the palm up towards the shoulders, almost like your arms are straws. and you're drawing energy up through those straws from the floor into the shoulders, either keeping the neck relaxed and the head heavy, or long through all sides of the neck as you look back towards your navel. From down dog, long smooth breath in, long smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone a little higher, and then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. On the exhale, fold them. On the inhale, stay low, knees over toes, hands overhead for the chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, glutes engaged, a little back bend at the top, open heart, open throat. On the exhale, neutral spine. Let's add a hip opener into our Sun Style B, flow style, inhaling into our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length, arcing the spine. Exhaling, arching as you ground on down, elbows soft as you find Chaturanga, yoga push-up. Inhaling into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana or Cobra, depending on where your hips are, either down or up. And then rolling over the toes, back to down dog. Flow style, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. Keeping that right shoulder grounded, lifted leg straight as you stack your hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. And then looking between the hands, bringing that right foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead, warrior one. And then riding your exhale back to low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back, your choice. From down dog when you're ready. Second side, big toes touch, heels slightly apart, left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Keeping that left shoulder grounded, lifted leg straight, stacking the hips. Now bending that leg, opening up that hip. And then looking between the hands, bringing that left foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead for our warrior one. And then riding your exhale back to low lunge, and from low lunge, back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa, stretching straight back, or maybe making another choice instead. You could always sneak in a little child's pose. Just connecting with your feeling body. How do you feel today? Do you feel energetic? Do you want to move at a faster pace? Do you want to move at a slower pace? Finding the right pace for you. From down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, folding. Inhaling, flat back, neutral spine, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, standing tall. I'll invite you to face the camera again, Kathy, as you bring your hands to your heart. This time, let's add an isometric engagement, pressing the palms together, elbows wide, a tuck of the tail, a tuck of the chin, connecting with the strength of your center. And then lifting the chin tall through the crown, hands by our side. Hands find the hips as we either step or jump our feet hip width apart, working with our fire breath as we inhale, arms out to the one side, short, sharp exhalation out through the nose as we pass the hands through center, and the other side. Halfway done. Couple more each way. One more each side. And then either stepping or jumping it back in. Boom. Sun salutation C, an extended standing pose sequence. Thank you for going sideways. Inhaling into our chair, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, glutes engaged to support that back bend at the top. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length as we arc the back. On the exhale, arching the spine as we ground on down, making your way back to down dog as you will. If you choose the push-up option, keeping those elbows soft. Inhaling, opening up. On the exhale, stretching on back. Flow style, big toes touch, heels left apart. Right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. Keeping that right shoulder anchored, lifted leg straight, stacking the hips. Now bending that leg, opening up that hip. And then looking between the hands, bringing that right foot through, spinning the left heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead for our warrior one. In warrior one, I'll invite you to bring hands back to the hips as you spin the back heel up. Taking a big step in as we move towards our warrior three. Starting to balance on that right foot, any amount. Starting to pitch the body forward as you lengthen through the legs without locking the knees. Working arm variations as we stretch hands back, shoulders stretch away from the ears. Now stretching hands out wide across the front of the heart, airplane arms. Classically stretching the hands in front as if you're holding a large glass ball, and then lifting the face to look through that ball. Hands in front find the heart. Heart hands become hip hands as you land that back foot lightly. Reestablishing your warrior one, an appropriate length for your stance. Back foot grounded. From here, arms out to the side and then stretching them high to the sky. From here with the breath, gathering up the energy. Exhaling cactus arms. 6 times, breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. We're halfway done. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last 2. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last 1. Breathing in. Breathing out and holding cactus arms. The elbows move back. The hands come with. I'll invite you to ripple those fingers. Open heart, open throat. Now turning warrior 1 hips into warrior 2 hips. As we bring hands onto our hips. And then our hips are squared front. Now we're going to square them to face the side wall. And we'll narrow the stance for heel to arch alignment. And then finding one long arm. Looking out over those front fingers with a steady yet relaxed gaze. From here, painting rainbows. Straightening the front leg without locking the knee. Inhaling. Exhaling back to warrior 2. So big movement. Bigger movement. Breathing in. Breathing out. And you're really far away from a locked knee. So feel free to straighten that leg a little bit more. Inhale. And exhale, we're halfway done. Breathing in. And breathing out. Last 2, breathing in. And breathing out. Last one we'll hold. Inhaling as we hold, reaching up higher, reaching down further, finding more space between each rib. The obvious focus is this front lateral line, but also feeling a sense of length on that back lateral line as both sideways lift up and out of the pelvis. And then turning the reverse warrior back into warrior 2. Finding a rainbow warrior, a clasp of the fingers behind the back. You might use a strap, a towel, a Pilates ring. Shoulder blades back and down initially. Open heart, open throat. And then leading with the heart as we take a forward fold inside the front leg. Tail end of the forward fold, letting those shoulders melt down towards the floor. Relaxed neck, heavy head. As we hold the rainbow warrior, I'll invite you to add a little swing, a little sway. Inviting any tension in the neck and shoulders to drain down through the crown of the head into the earth. We can relax that neck a little bit more. Yeah, there you go. Now a strong tuck of the chin, stretching out the back of the neck as we bring it on up. Coming back to our warrior 2, one long arm. Do this in the right order here. Thumb and forefinger find the crease of hip and base of rib. Deepening that crease, lengthening those ribs, keeping a little spring in the knee. As you ground bottom hand down, I'm going to give you some yoga bricks because I know you like them. So you can also use the shin, but the bricks are a nice option. You just have to manage the situation so they're not too far away. I'm going to move back up a little bit here. Opening up top shoulder with that top hand, and then stretching that hand high to the sky. As we hold the triangle with every in-breath, breathing into your center of balance, 3 fingers below the navel. With every out-breath from that center, connecting with the periphery of the room, long through the legs, the arms, both ends of the spine. And if you want to do little wrist circles, making it your pose. Whatever feels right and good for you. Might add a little smile to your face. And my first yoga teacher said that you can close your eyes as long as you're not spacing out. So you want to keep that sense of concentration, that sense of focus on all parts of the body all at once. From here, moving towards our half moon balance challenge. Hand finds the hip. Big step in. Feel free to use the brick or not. Setting your base, right hand off to the right. You've got like a wide situation here. So you want to think of a square. This would be one corner, that would be the other corner. There's an invisible corner over there, and an invisible corner over there. Yeah. And then with that wider situation, you can find a bigger expression of the shape because you've got a nice foundation. And you don't want to go too far out to the side because you want to keep the energy in. Opening up top shoulder, stretching hand high. Classically, in Iyengar's book, he flexes the back foot, but I like somewhere between a flex and a point, called a floint. You press through the balls of the toes, but stay long through the heel. Again, as we hold the shape, breathing into your center of balance, 3 fingers below the navel, and from that center, sending energy out into space, both arms, both legs, both ends of the spine. Either looking down, off to the side, or up to the sky. Coming down easefully, top hand finds the hip, we can land a short stance. 2 hands find 2 hips as we shift the weight into the feet. Shifting the weight onto the front foot as we lengthen our stance. The safest way is just to move the back foot, but for the purposes of the camera, Kathy has moved her front foot.
I don't think I did, actually. I think I just went like that.
That's exactly what that's the goal.
Ah.
So maybe on the second side, play with it and think about it. So finding your warrior 2, one long arm, looking out over those front fingers with that steady yet relaxed gaze. And then a big windmill of the arms as we find our low lunge, stretching out your shoulders. No need to rush here. Finding it, and then either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Your choice. Flowing with your breath, letting your breath be the metronome for your action. As we hold our down dog, coming back to same breath, Samarvriti, even inhale, even exhale in every aspect. Length, duration, intensity, location. You ready for the second side, Kathy? Awesome. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high in the right toes. Keeping that left shoulder just as it is, lifted leg straight, stacking the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip, and then looking between the hands, bringing that left foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead for our warrior 1. As we hold warrior 1, long through both side waist, long through the arms, long through the fingers. Now moving towards the warrior 3 balance challenge as we bring hands back to the hips, spinning the back heel up, shifting the weight onto the front foot as we take a big step in. And then starting to balance on that left foot or left leg as you pitch the body forward. Working the arm variations as we stretch hands back, shoulders stretch away from the ears. Stretching hands out wide across the front of the heart. Now sweeping those hands front, take your time as if you're holding a large glass ball, and then lifting the face to look through that ball. Hands in front, find the heart. Heart hands become hip hands as we land warrior 1 prep, 2 feet down, hands on hips. Once you've established a length of stance that works for you, try to work from the front foot. Yeah, so just moving the back foot, front foot stays just as it is. And then sweeping those hands high to the sky. From here with the breath, when you're ready, gathering up the energy on the exhale, cactus arms. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Last 2, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in. Breathing out and holding cactus arms. The elbows move back, the wrists come with, rippling those fingers. Open heart, open throat. Now bringing hands to hips as we turn warrior one hips into warrior two hips. Opening the hips to face the side. Kicking the back foot in for a narrower stance. And then finding one long arm, looking out past those front fingers with a steady yet relaxed gaze. From here, painting rainbows. Inhale. And exhale. It's a big movement. Yeah, don't worry too much about locking that knee. You're pretty far away. Inhale. And exhale. We'll do 6. Breathing in. And breathing out. Halfway done. Breathing in. And breathing out. Last 2. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last 1. Breathing in and holding. Reaching up higher. Reaching down further. Finding more space in that lateral front line. Also feeling a sense of space in the back lateral line as both sideways lift up and out of that pelvis. Finding more space between each rib and breathing into that space. Now turning the reverse warrior back into warrior 2. Switching the clasp of the fingers behind the back, shoulder blades back and down onto rib shelf, open heart, open throat, and then taking your time as you find that forward fold inside the front leg. There's going to be lots of leg engagement to keep your balance here. But try to let the torso be super loose, super liquid. Yeah, awesome, beautiful. And then I'll invite you to add just a little, it doesn't have to be big movement, just a little swing, a little sway. Inviting any tension in the neck and shoulders to drain down through the crown of the head. Let that neck go. Yeah, awesome. Our necks work hard all day. Anytime we can say to our neck, just take a break. Our neck is super appreciative. Now in our rainbow warrior, a tuck of the chin as we bring it on out, feeling a nice stretch in the back of the neck. Lifting the chin tall through the crown as we come back to our warrior 2. Transitioning to the triangle, thumb and forefinger find crease of hip and base of rib. Take your time. Deepening that crease, lengthening those ribs. Keeping a little spring in the knee, either using your shin, or if you've got a yoga elf, they can set a little block system outside the calf as you ground on down. Top hand can open up the shoulder and then stretching high to the sky. And again, as we hold the triangle in relative stillness, breathing into your center of balance, the diaphragm stretches down towards the navel as you breathe in. As you breathe out, the diaphragm relaxes and domes up to the heart. And on that impetus, sending energy out into space from the center of yourself. Connecting with the pulsation of your breath. Now moving towards that second balance challenge, if you choose. Hand finds the hip. Shifting the weight onto the front foot as we take a big step in. You might take a series of steps. Or you might even just slide the foot. We're going to set left hand off to the left, and I like a nice wide base. You want to think of a square here, so you've got the diagonal between the foot and the brick. Not too far though. I mean, it's not too big a square. We want to keep the energy still hugging in. I would actually say your brick could probably come forward just a little bit. Yeah, there you go. You want to feel a nice straight arm here, but not too far out to the side. You want to make sure that shoulder is supported. And then stretching that hand high to the sky when you're ready. And you might use the hand to open up the shoulder. And as we hold the shape, breathing into your center of balance. And from that place, finding more amplitude in the shape. Different theories as to the back foot. You might move between the flex and the point. And then I like that place in between, pressing through the balls of the toes, drawing the tips of the toes back to the face, but staying long through the heel, the floint. Feels good on all parts of the foot. Also keeps our breath open. A flexed foot, strangely enough, restricts the movement of the diaphragm. So we'll work on the short stance and then lengthening the stance. So hand finds the hip, we'll land that short stance. Don't worry about the frame here. Two hands find two hips. Stay grounded through that front foot as you take a big step back. All right, so and now you can adjust the frame if you're not quite in the center. Yeah. Awesome. Coming back to your warrior 2. Awesome. Thank you, Kathy. From here, a big windmill of the arms as we find our low lunge. Take your time. And from low lunge, back to down dog, as you go. Either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. As we hold whatever shape you've chosen. Coming back to same breath, Samarvriti. Even inhale, even exhale. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift your tailbone a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump to the front of your mat. Take a breath to arc the back. On the exhale, arching the spine. On the inhale, knees over toes, stay low. We'll come back to our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, a little back bend at the top. On the exhale, neutral spine, hands by our side. I'll ask you to face the camera as you bring hands to heart. This time clasping the fingers, keeping the heels of the hands together as you try to pull the fingers apart. A tuck of the tail, a tuck of the chin, connecting with the strength of our center. And then lifting the chin tall through the crown, hands by our side. Hands find the hips as we either step or jump our feet hip width apart. Again, working with our fire breath as we inhale, arms out to each side. On the exhale, through the nose, short and sharp, passing the hands through center. And then switching across. We'll do 8 of these. We're halfway done. A couple more each way. One more each side. And then back up. And either stepping or jumping it back in. Sun salutation D. Inhaling into our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Inhaling, finding length as you arc the back. On the exhale, arching the spine as you ground on down, making your way back to down dog as you will. Deep full breaths. And we'll move towards our swan sequence, and we're going to stay with the right-left cueing here. So, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. Keeping right shoulder anchored, lifted leg straight, stacking the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. And then keeping the knee joint closed as you sweep that right knee towards right wrist. Walking the left foot back as you settle the hips at the same rate. And you can't walk that left foot back anymore, unfurling the foot to stabilize the shape, finding the tips of 10 fingers. Shoulder blades back and down, open heart, open throat. Think cat camel here, find a little bit of an arc. Trying to keep that arc as long as you can as you spider those fingers front. Take your time. And you'll get a nice stretch in your back. Yeah, feel like you're laying each vertebrae down as if you're laying pearls onto a cushion. And then letting the pose relax as the forehead heavies into the mat. With the arms in extension, if the forehead is easily down, awesome. If that's not the situation, you could always find a cross of the forearms or make a pair of soft fists. As we hold the shape, I invite you to put your mind in your hips, even though they're not going to move, stretching the hips away from the midpoint as you find more space in the very center of yourself. And you can always add a little rock, a little swing, a little sway, whatever feels right and good for you. Now let's fly the swan as we scoot the fingers on in, finding the tips of 10 fingers again, shoulder blades back and down onto rib shelf. And then a strong abdominal engagement as we draw the perineum up towards the navel, navel up towards the heart. We float the arms out to the side and then overhead. And Kathy, if you want to add your little wrist circles, whatever feels right and good for you, being the beautiful, beautiful swan that you are. If I can get her to laugh, it's awesome. Funny. And then from this place, sweeping the hands back down, I'll suggest Flat palms here. And then tucking the back toes. Keeping the knee joint closed as you find a three-legged dog. Take your time. And then very, very, very carefully opening up that knee. Inviting more circulation, more prana, more vitality into that knee joint. And then once you've established your down dog, you can walk the dog, whatever feels right and good. Some of you may want to cycle through vinyasa depending on your energy level. Sometimes more push-ups are good, sometimes fewer push-ups are also good. So again, just making that choice for yourself. So we'll work the other side here. So big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Keeping that left shoulder anchored, lifted leg straight as we stack the hips.
Oh, you want me to go the other way?
It's okay, it's no worries. This isn't a twist, so people can see you no matter what side you are. Now bending the leg, opening up the hip, that's nice. Keeping that knee joint closed as we sweep the knee towards the wrist. Make sure you're comfortable here, walking the other foot back, finding more length, and then when you can't go any further, unfurling the foot to stabilize the shape. Finding the tips of 10 fingers as we set the shoulder blades back and down. And then, and then for this place, we want to lead with the heart. Take your time here as you stretch it on out. So you're going to lay the heart down, you're laying the spine down, feel like you're finding more space between each vertebrae. Every time you spider those fingers a little bit forward. It's a nice tractioning action. Taking your time, and then eventually relaxing into the shape. Again, arms in extension if the forehead can come down easily. If not, you might raise the floor with a cross of the forearms or a pair of soft fists. And that's a nice way to do it too. Again, as we hold the shape, putting your mind in your hips, this is an action, not a movement. As you stretch the hips away from the midpoint, finding more space in the center of yourself. And then, of course, always feeling free to add a little rock, a little swing, a little sway. Finding your optimal alignment. My sister's husband, Chris, who may or may not be on the video here, if not now, maybe later on, says sometimes in bed he'll think about what's the one thing I can do to get just a little bit more comfortable in my body. Maybe it's moving an arm, maybe moving a leg. It doesn't have to be a big movement. Just making that one little adjustment to find a little more ease, a little more comfort. From here, now that we've gotten super easeful at that effort, as we spider the fingers back in, moving towards our flying swan. Again, the tips of 10 fingers to set those shoulder blades back and down. And then a strong, strong core engagement as we draw the perineum, base of the pelvis up to the navel, navel up to the heart, arms out to the side and then overhead. As we hold a beautiful swan, feeling free to add little movement. We do a lot of wrist work in a flow practice with our push-ups and our down dog, letting those wrists have their day. And then sweeping the hands out to the side, finding the flats of the palms, take your time. Once you've set that base, tucking the back toes, finding your three-legged dog as you lift that leg high, keeping the knee joint closed initially, and then very carefully just opening up that knee, inviting more life force, more prana, more vitality. And then grounding down through that foot. And either holding your down dog or one last opportunity this morning, cycling through vinyasa. Finding that balance between your effort and your ease. From our down dog shape, I would like you to land your knees lightly. Sits bones back to the heels. Big toes touch as we find a child's pose. Nestling our belly inside our thighs, arms in extension. Again, take your time. As we hold the shape, finding your belly breath. Even if it's just on an energetic level, every time you breathe in, the belly massages the thighs. Every time you breathe out, the thighs massage your belly, connecting with a big ball of warmth in the very center of yourself, giving yourself a hug from the inside out. Stretching out low side waist and hips. I'll invite you to walk your hands to one side. Stretching far hip to far heel. I'll move the yoga bells for now. Now walking the hands through center and finding that side stretch on your second side. Don't worry about any schmutz on the mat. No one can see it. Stretching other hip to other heel. And then walking hands through center. Let's walk the hands back and bring our feet off to one side. And try to, if you have a favorite side, maybe go the other way. From here, let's do a long, slow roll down under our back. So finding the top of your mat so your head has something soft to land down upon when we get down. Starting from our tall spine, let's set it up first. Back of the head's in line with the sacrum, also known as neutral spine. Frankenstein arms. From here, tuck of the tail, a tuck of the chin. We're rounding the spine, we're finding the arch. And then lots of core engagement as we slowly lower ourselves down. Slow, 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 slow. The lower you go, the slower you go. Beautiful. And that's a strong center right there. Lots of people work on their biceps, but the core is where it's all at. From here, full body stretch, arms by the ears, not too low. We want to keep the ribs soft and drawn in. We don't want them to poke out. Yeah, keep them soft. Maybe lift the arms a little bit higher. There you go. I can just totally felt that. Low back's going to lift. And then sweeping hands by your side. Yeah, you can go different ways to do it. We're not moving towards Shavasana yet, though. I know you're eager to get there. Pressing your back into the mat. You want to support the action of the legs as you draw one foot in and then the other. Yeah, but we're not doing Uttanasana yet either, so you want to stay grounded through the feet. And now we're going to find supine swan or supine pigeon as we bring right ankle on top of left thigh. We're going to draw that left knee in as we reach through to catch the thigh or the shin. And then as we hold the shape, again, there's an action, not a movement. You're going to stretch the tailbone forward and down. It's not going to get there, but you'll find more space in the low back. And then when you're ready, rocking the shape side to side, really getting into those hips, releasing and relaxing your low back. From a place of rocking, coming back towards center, releasing the thigh or the shin as you ground. Take your time doing the steps here. So keep the figure four shape. Now you're going to ground the foot down as you release. You're going to keep that foot flexed as you bring it off the thigh. It's going to keep the knee supported. Ground it down through 2 feet. And we'll find that supine swan the other way. So left ankle on top of right thigh. Now drawing the knee in as you catch the thigh or the shin. Stretching tailbone forward and down, more space in the low back. And then when you're ready, starting to rock it from side to side. Massaging your kidneys, releasing and relaxing your low back. Now coming back to center. Take it in steps here. Releasing the thigh or the shin, keeping the figure four. Grounding down through the foot. Once you've got that foundation, this foot stays flexed as you bring it off the thigh. Grounded down through 2 feet, one hand on the belly, the other hand on top, finding your belly breath. And then from a place of relaxation, now moving towards that Shavasana as you lengthen through your legs, arms out to the side, the palms face up. And I'll turn some lights off here. We won't be here too long. Of course, at home you can stay in your Shavasana as long as you'd like. Hold the shape, initially focusing on your breath, but as we hold the shape, even letting that focus soften as we bring our senses inside, Pratyahara. I'm going to ring these yoga bells 3 times. At home, of course, feeling free to stay just as you are for the purposes of this class in this format. We'll do this. Moving your mind before you move your body. Bring your attention back to your breath, watching as it flows in and out. Now shaping your breath, moving away from same breath, Samavriti, as we find a long, slow inhalation, followed by a longer, slower exhalation. Long, smooth breaths in. Longer, smoother, slower breaths out.
Keeping this more relaxing breath, inviting more vitality, more prana, more life force into your body as you gently ripple fingers and toes. Inviting that prana in towards center as we gently circle our wrists and our ankles. Adding a little shimmy of the shoulders, a little shake of the hips, connecting with your own innate sense of well-being, whatever feels right and good for you. To support the action of the legs, pressing your back into the mat to engage your core. As you draw one knee in and then the other, hands catch the shins. Now we're moving towards that Apanasana. Using your thighs to gently massage your belly, front to back, side to side, little circles, whatever feels right and good for you. This is an excellent pose for digestion as we digest the fruits of our practice. Now reaching back with a hand to lift and tuck the chin, keeping the neck relaxed. Hand comes back to the shin. So 2 hands, 2 shins, or the back of the thighs, depending on where you are. And then starting to rock yourself forward and back, massaging your spine. If you have to catch the thighs, no big deal. It's feeling good. And then a little core engagement, a little momentum as we pop on up to find a cross-legged sit. And if you use your hands, no big deal. As we sit, grounded down through our sits bones, hands cap the knees. Pulling back with the hands to settle the shoulders as we sit up a little straighter, a little taller. A slight tuck of the chin as we bring our hands to our heart. Ending our practice as we started, watching as our breath flows in, and watching as our breath flows out. From this place of breath observation, I invite you to bow as you thank yourself for practicing yoga, and as we offer our practice out to each other and to the world. The light within us honors and respects the light within you, and in this light, we are one. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you at home for practicing with us. Thank you, Kathy, for practicing with me.
Thank you.
And it never gets old. I love how namaste sounds, just like have a nice day, and we'll see you soon.